Hello friends, I am Dr. Mamta Garg, Professor in English, Government Nabda College, Hoshangabad. In my previous presentation, I had explained to you about the definition of sonnet and the main features of the sonnet. And now I am going to interpret and analyze to you sonnet number 26. Students, this sonnet is one of 54 sonnets of Shakespeare and it is a part of the Fair Youth sequence. There are many views regarding the occasion of the sonnet, and it is believed that the sonnet dramatizes those emotions and feelings which a lower class rate poet has for the noble patron. In this particular sonnet, Shakespeare is addressing his fair youth, a very close friend of Shakespeare, as there are many ideas associated again with who that friend was. So, this has been a matter of controversy amongst the critics, but this is believed that this sonnet it is addressed to the fair youth whom he loved deeply, and he loved him so much as if the poet imagines that he has become his slave. So, with many images, in order to express his deep love for his friend, he explains through the sonnet, Lord of my love, to whom in vassalage thy merit hath my duty strongly knit. He says, O my love, I am your absolute servant. Your worth compels me to serve you loyally. So the poet considers himself to be a servant of his friend. And he says, just because of the merits, because of the strong points which his friend has, and considering it his duty to express his love towards his friend. So the poet says that through this poem, he is going to do that. He's trying to strongly knit this image he has used. Knitting means when all the threads they are interwoven. So that's how through this poem he has tried to tell us that what type of love he has for his friend. He has interwoven all his feelings and emotions into the threads of the poem. To thee I send this written ambassadors to witness duty not to show my wit. So he's just subduing, he's surrendering his entire self before his friend. He considers himself to be a servant first, and then he says that this poem is going to serve like an ambassador. As an ambassador carries the masses of someone, he passes the masses of one person to another in the same manner. This sonnet is also going to serve that purpose. It is going to pass the masses to his friend and to tell him how much deep love he bears in his heart for him. But then, because of the humility, he says that he lacks the wit. He's not so witty. He lacks that wisdom. He lacks that skill so that he may be able to explain how much dutiful he feels towards his friend. That's what he says, to witness duty, not to show my wit. He's not going to express his witticism through this poem. He considers himself nothing before his friend. And he says that my only ambition is, his only intention is to express his love. He does not want to impress him at all by his wit. Duty so great, which wit so poor as mine. His duty, he says, that his duty is great, but wit is poor. Wit of the poor, of the poet, he says that it's poor. He lacks the words, he's short of words, may make seem bare, in wanting words to show it. So he's repeating that he lacks that witticism, that skill. He's short of words. He doesn't have sufficient store of words to express his feelings, but that I hope some good conceit of thine. In thy soul's thought, all naked will bestow it, till whatever star that guides my moving. But the poet says that he is very much sure and he hopes that his friend has some good impression. He bears whatever impression he bears in his heart for the poet. That impression will let him realize the depth of the love of the poet. To witness duty, not to show my way, duty so great, which wit so poor as mine may make seem bare, in wanting words to show it. He short of words, but that I hope some good conceit of thine. In thy soul's thought, in the very thoughts, those thoughts which you bear in your heart for me, all naked, will bestow it. He says that he lacks that method. He doesn't know, he is not familiar with in which manner he must express himself. But then he says that the deep love which his friend bears in his heart for him, that will make him to realize the depth of the love which the poet has in his heart. All naked will bestow it till whatever star that guides my moving. And the poet thinks that if the stars become favorable to him, till whatever star that guides my moving points on me graciously with fair aspect, they will definitely favor him and they will make the poet, if they become favorable, they will give him the inspiration to dress up his tattered love for whatever he bear in his heart in clever words. Means if the stars become favorable, then only he will be inspired in such a manner, then he will be able to give shape, form to his thoughts which he is bearing for his friend. Points on me graciously with fair aspect and puts apparel on my tattered loving. Apparel is what? Clothing. When a naked person, he wears the clothing, so then he looks proper and good in the same manner. His words, they are totally incomplete in themselves, but because of the image which his friend has in his heart, he will be able to give shape and form to those feelings which the poet has in his heart. To show me worthy of thy sweet respect, he says, then he will be able to have the respect, to win the respect, the sweet respect of his friend. To show me worthy of thy sweet respect, then may I dare to boast how I love thee. He says, then that's when I shall be able, I shall dare to boast about how much he loves his friend. Till then, he says, may I dare to boast, how do I dare to love thee? Till then, not show my head where thou mayst prove me. Until then, he says, I won't be able to show my face to anyone else. He won't show his face to any person in the world. He won't go to anywhere. And then you can put on me to the list. Wherever thou mayst prove me. He says that wherever you want, you can place me. Whatever his friend thinks about him, he says that he can do that. But the poet says that he is waiting for that appropriate moment when the stars will be favorable, and then he will be able, because of the influence of the propitious stars, the poet will be able to express his deep love which he bears in his heart for his friend. So that's how through this sonnet Shakespeare, he has depicted about that intense love which the poet bore in his heart for the fair youth. And he has used many images throughout the poem, and as far as the structure of the poem is concerned, it's same as it is divided in 3 quatrains and a couplet. And the rhyming scheme, if you look at it closely, you will find that the first line of the poem, Vassales, that corresponds with the third line, that is ambasses, and the second line, knit, the last word, that corresponds with the fourth line's last word, wit. So that's how this pattern continues throughout the sonnet, and which was very popular as Shakespeare has used the same in all his sonnets.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, students. Thanks a lot.